How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with yet another review. Not just any other review. Fucking old beer time in the form of Traquair House Brewing's. It is their 2020 ale. This is my first Traquair, I'm sure I'm butchering that, beer review. I've had a bunch of, I think it's called their stock ale. I've had that quite a bit, actually. But I've never reviewed anything. And it's not something I typically pick up off the shelves, but a buddy of mine, Jay, was like, hey, man, I have a couple beers for you. And just three basically old beers. He gave me this. This is almost 10 years old. This is bottled in 2010. And then a 2012 old school Barleywine and an Immort ale that's a little bit older. Something like that. Anyway, he dropped these off. He's like, give them a whirl. I met him probably about, I don't know, a year ago or something like that. We chugged the beers a couple different times, and he's actually called me to invite me to a beer fest he's doing. He's doing a beer fest called a Bridgewater Beer Fest. I heard about it last year. He told me about it last year, so we definitely hooked up over a year ago. And it seems like a cool deal, you know. It's later. It's like 7 to 10 o'clock, which is really weird. I've never seen beer fest that late, but apparently there's going to be a bunch of, like, kind of, I don't want to say rarer, but just not common shit there, so I'm going to go there and chug some beers. You want to go chug some beers from me? If you ever want to track me down and boof a bunch of delicious barley wines, go check me out there. Bridgewater Beer Fest. It's like a fucking... I'll post this before it comes up. When is it? April 13th? May? What, March? April. Yeah, April 13th. Saturday. Just go on the internets. Bridgewater Beer Fest. It's like Bridgewater, New Jersey. Anyway, go check it out. I'll be hanging out, chugging some beers. Anyway, back to the beer. I love old fucking beer. And this is, I assume this is a barley wine. It's 10% alcohol by volume. It's made in Scotland. I'm assuming it's a barley wine. So let's just dive into this sucker, see what she actually says. Up top it says, judge not. Well, guess what? Yeah, I'm going to judge the shit out of it. Sole U.S. agents, Merch du Vin product, Traquair 2020 ale product of Scotland. It says brewed in 2010, enjoy before 2020. So, I mean, we're only a few months away from 2020. So, yeah, 6 months, Jesus Christ, 9 months. Traquair House, Pebbleshire, Scotland. In the back here we have an ale brewed to celebrate the first decade of the 21st century and to be consumed before the end of the second decade. Traquair Brewery, tiny, historic, and rooted with deep traditions, is situated in Scotland's oldest inhabited house. Savor this authentic taste of Scotland. Yeah. Likewise, I kind of dig it. I mean, it's simple to the point. There's really not much to it. Kind of like Scotland. I shouldn't have said that. That's pretty fucked up. Not a big hiss. There was a little bit of a hiss in there, so we'll see what's what. You know, a 10% beer that is almost 10 years old. This is you're speaking my fucking language right now. I'm gonna give this a really aggressive pour. Actually, it's generating a little bit of a head, which I'm kind of fucking surprised about. And I mean, look at that. I mean, that's a barley wine looking color right there. Rich, dark, kind of mahogany hues surrounding the brown. A little bit of kind of hazy murkiness going on. I got a head off this. That has me super fucking excited because that means it probably had a decent fucking seal on it. So oxidation should be hopefully kept to a minimum. But I mean, she looks like a barley wine, off-white, or actually just slightly north of khaki colored head, dissipated relatively quickly. A little bit of soapy on one side, a little bit of tight bubbles on the other, and that rich, nice, delicious kind of murkiness going on in a pretty tasty bottle. So we're off to a good fucking start, man. I have not had a really properly old beer in quite a while, so I'm kind of excited. Give it a nose. Got the sniffles. Bear with me. It makes me so fucking happy. Oh yeah, baby. I talk about a lot of things. We could just end the sentence there. I talk a lot of different things when it comes to beer. When I talk about aged beer, there's some, especially kind of like barley wines, English ale, stuff like that. There's really specific notes I want to be hit. I don't mind a little bit of oxidation. Sometimes I actually welcome it. I'm not getting a ton of it here. A slight wet paper thing, but it way less than you expect from a 10-year-old beer. I talk a lot about sugar daddies and raisinets. Sugar Daddy is the precursor to Raisinets. Usually a lot of barley wines start off as your burnt brown sugars, kind of erring towards your kind of toffee, datey kind of thing going on. And then Sugar Daddy's involved in that too. And then when it gets decently old, then you get to your Raisinets. You get that rich kind of adult-like chocolate and that kind of rich raisin component. That's what you're getting here. It's not super in your face. There's not this huge burst, 2x4, or this overly sweet kind of richness. But it's fucking there. It's like a rum-soaked chocolate covered raisin. That's it, spot on what it is. Oh, yeah, there's soft, rich, kind of score like chocolates to it, score bar kind of chocolate to it. There's like a toffee element. There's so much going on, but it's just zeroing in on that beautiful raisinette component. Yeah, buddy. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's probably one of the most dangerous beers I've ever had in my life, in a weird way. The nose, I'm going to say the nose sets you up for a slight bit of a letdown. It's nice. It's rich. You're getting those raisinette vibes. You're getting a big toffee component, probably a little bit more toffee than raisinette. There's a little bit of spiciness in there, too. There's definitely a little bit of oxidation. Or not a ton of oxidation, but a proper amount of oxidation for a beer of its age. But it doesn't get as vibrant, doesn't get as rich as the nose would let you to believe. It has a nice silky creaminess to it that makes you think it's going to be criminally drank way too fast. But you get a pop of heat at the end. That was my beginning thing where I was like, okay, it's kind of dangerous-esque. Because you get that slight pop of heat at the end that lets you know you're drinking something that's double digits. So even though it's drinking creepily easily, at the end it just gives you a little poke, a reminder that you're drinking something that should be savored. This is just a tasty beer, man. It's tasty. It's not... Listen. I go into these beers. I hold them up to Hardy's. I hold it up to an old stock. I hold it up to JWLE's. In that same mindset, we have other beers. And by other beers, I mean one beer comes to mind, and that would be your Fuller's Vintage Ale. To me, I've always talked about Fuller's Vintage Ale being the same ilk as those, but not being as the same quality, not as robust, not as rich, not as yada yada. I called it methadone for Thomas Hardy or JWLE's, an aged version. It's a fine beer, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It just leaves me wanting. It gives me the hints. It shows me enough of that leg to remind me of an Hardy, but doesn't get me all the way there. If you had Hardy being here, Hardy, Old Stock, and Lee's, because those all aged really fall in the same category for me, and you had Fuller's Vintage. This is somewhere in between those. So this is probably equal distance to Fuller's Vintage that is to the Hardy's, the Old Stocks, the JWLE's, with the same amount of time on it. Not a bad thing. I've seen this beer on shelves. I just never picked it up. I've seen this beer on shelves today. Like, not today, yesterday. No, I saw it today, actually, when I was out and about, oddly enough. I didn't know what he was leaving me, and I didn't pick it up till today, and I was like, holy shit, I just saw that beer today. So I've seen it a couple different places, and you're talking about a beer that's gonna be 10 in less than, 10 months. So you're talking about a beer that has that amount of age on it that still can be gotten without much fanfare. That's going to get you very close to what I believe are some of the best beers, ageable beers, in the history of mankind. A 10-year-old Hardy, JWLE's, or Old Stock, to me, is an epiphany if you've never had one before. So for something to get as close to that, to where I even talk about them, I think is a positive. It's a tasty beer. So yeah, I dig it. Yeah. Nose is all about the raisinettes. Taste gets you all the way to the toffee. There's a nice spicy component to it. creamy mouthful, pop of heat at the end to let you know it's something to be savored. I'm a fan. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better cellared? Can we go like that? Cellared beer. Old barley wines? Old barley. Let's just go old barley wine. Why put on an air of fucking elite here saying cellared this? It's an old barley wine. Is it one of the better ones I've had? Yeah. As of... yes. I haven't had that many. I kind of keep those ones for kind of special occasions, so I haven't had that many. But you know where this falls on my kind of scale of what's what, so I don't need to explain that. Value and availability, I forget what these cost. Like I said, I saw it today. But you can still find these, so, I mean, let's put it this way. If this is less than $7 a bottle, I'm buying it every fucking time. If it's less than $10 a bottle, I'm picking it up as a treat. If it's plus 10, if you've never had it before, I'd pick it up. If it wasn't super high over plus 10, but as something to go back to, I don't know if I'd pick it up. And that's just me. Someone that kind of really covets these kind of old age beers. The availability, like I said, I can find it and leave you with, if you like what we like this. Again, Fuller's over here. Hardy's over here, somewhere in between. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little 10-year-old beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.